Last week I produced 5 videos, the week before that I produced 4, and compared to my productivity last year, I feel like I'm working too much. You probably heard the discussions online about whether it's better to use motivation or discipline. Well, I'm using neither of those. The system that I created is much better and gives much better results than both motivation and discipline. Basically, that is a system that forces me to work, and it is a much smarter approach than both discipline and motivation. Without any more yapping, what I did is basically, I made work the most enjoyable and the easiest part of my day. That might sound like something very hard and unrealistic, so let me give you an example. While scripting this very video, I got very bored, tired of this, I wanted to quit, I wanted to go do something else. But then I remembered, this is the only thing I can do right now. There is nothing more interesting in my day that I can do. There are no video games to play, there is no social media. This is the most interesting thing I could be doing right now. And I continued to do this, and I finished this script in that same day. In fact, in that same hour. So now that you know what exactly I did, let's talk about how I did this. First of all, I started by identifying the things I need to work on. And since I'm a YouTuber, my main work is recording YouTube videos. The work you should be doing should follow the 20/80 rule. Basically, how it works for me is if I stop recording YouTube videos, my channel will never grow. I will not get new subscribers, I will not get views, I will not get anything, I will not get any result from my work. Even if I will continue doing everything else, like creating thumbnails, creating titles, writing descriptions, changing my profile pictures. All of that doesn't matter if I don't record videos. So my main task, my 20/80 rule task, is recording videos. Because even if I stop doing anything else besides recording videos, my channel will still grow. I will still get results. That's why 20% of effort of recording videos gives 80% of results. For you, your work task will be something else. So you'll have to figure it out for yourself. Then when I determined what exactly I need to work on, I had to make this the easiest and the most enjoyable part of the day. And since making YouTube videos is not one single task, like it's not just setting up a camera and recording, it's also scripting, editing, uploading, planning the video, recording the video itself, that's a lot of tasks. That was not an easy thing to do. Another reason why it wasn't an easy thing to do is because scrolling on social media and playing video games is much easier and much more stimulating than making YouTube videos. Because social media and video games are designed to make you addicted. They are designed to be easy to play, to be enjoyable, and to be stimulating so that you want to come back to them. All of it happens because of a hormone called dopamine in your brain. Dopamine is a hormone of motivation, and it makes you motivated to do stuff. For instance, to work, to exercise, to read, to learn new stuff, but also to play video games, to scroll on social media, and to eat junk food. Because the biological function of dopamine is to make you chase the valuable stuff. And video games, social media, and junk food are designed to mimic the stuff that your brain sees as desirable. So in order to be productive, what I had to do is to remove video games and social media. And since it's just physically impossible to just sit there and do nothing for a prolonged period of time, your brain basically has to push you to do at least something. And you need to make it so that this something is work. So that your brain naturally pushes you to work. That is the secret for unlimited gains. That is the secret for insane productivity. Now, the way you do that is by removing the stimulating and addictive stuff that takes a lot of time, like video games and social media. But it's not enough to just stop doing them, because your brain always keeps a list of all the things available for you to do. And it always chooses the things that are at the top of the list. And the list is sorted according to what is most stimulating, what gives most dopamine. And social media and video games are always at the top of that list. They always give the most dopamine. That's why what you need to do instead is to create conditions under which it's impossible to do video games and social media. I call this the barrier of laziness. Basically, you need to make playing video games and scrolling on social media so hard that your own laziness kicks in and doesn't let you to do this. The way I did that is by deleting all video games from my computer and then deleting Steam. So now when I'm getting a thought about playing video games, I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna play for half an hour. And for that I'll have to install Steam, log in, install all my video games just to play for half an hour? That's not worth it. And my brain automatically switches to something else, which is again work, because work is much easier than playing video games, because work is readily available. I can do work anytime. All I have for that is already on my computer, available to do at any time I want. You see how your brain automatically starts seeing work as a better option than playing video games? That's exactly how it works. So let me phrase it a little bit differently. Imagine a list of all the things that you can do in the day, sorted by how much dopamine it gives you. Right now, at the top of that list will be video games and social media. If you remove video games and social media, the next things on that list will be the good things, the things you want to do, the things that will bring you something good in life. In order for those good things to be easier to do, you need to remove these bad things like video games and social media from the top of that list. What? What you said? You don't want to delete video games and social media? You see, this is the part where you will be tested. You will be tested on how badly you actually want to succeed. This is the moment where you will be tested whether you want to be a millionaire or a loser video gamer. When those thoughts pop up in your head, like I don't want to get rid of social media, I don't want to get rid of video games, you need to ask yourself, video games or $1 million? Video games or driving cool cars? Video games or anything you want in life? Social media or being the guy who is posted on social media? That's your choice. If you're choosing this one, then you will never have this one. But if you're choosing this one, then sooner or later you can come back to this one. It's just that you will have free time and money to do that without any worry. So I hope you clearly see what's the better choice here. And if you do see that, then delete all social media and video games. And then, additionally, look for other ways that you can limit video games and social media for yourself. You need to make it as hard as possible for you to come back to playing video games and social media. That way you can be sure that you will start doing the good things instead of the bad things. And again, the key thing here is to not force yourself to quit video games and social media. The key is to create conditions under which it's very hard to scroll on social media and play video games. Once you did that, there's a next step waiting for you. The next step is you need to make your work feel easier and, if possible, actually enjoyable to do. The way I did that myself is by optimizing everything. I always know what my current step is. I always know what my next step is. It's pretty much like building a conveyor to make the process easier. Of course, it will be different for any type of work, but the way I did that for YouTube is I outlined the 4 steps that are required to make a video. Step 1 is writing a script, step 2 is recording the video, step 3 is editing the audio, and step 4 is editing the video. And then I started thinking how I can optimize each one of those steps. How can I make it easier? And any part of your work that you absolutely hate to do, you need to either make as easy as possible or just abandon it at all. That's what I did with editing. I absolutely hate editing. That's the most boring part of creating a video. So what I did is I minimized my editing time. I spend on editing as little time as possible, and I also spend as little mental energy on editing as possible. So now when I made all these changes, I actually don't mind editing that much. It's just another part of work. And if instead of optimizing this stuff and minimizing it, I forced myself to do this, I would just quit. It would be impossible for me to continue making YouTube videos. And that's actually what happened to me last year. I pushed myself too much doing stuff I don't really like doing, and that made me quit. That's why you need to make sure that the task you're doing is easy for you and enjoyable. At least a little bit. And you don't have to constantly force yourself to do this. Another thing that makes work much easier to do is gamifying it. Gamifying basically means making it more like a game. And that's the fun part. That's the part when we're using video game knowledge to our advantage. The way I gamified my work is by outlining clear goals, so that each task I'm doing is like a quest in a video game. I always know exactly what I need to do next. For instance, each YouTube video I'm making is like a quest for me. Like this video I'm recording right now. I'm basically doing a side quest right now. That's why it's fun. What makes it even more fun is that for each completed goal, I assign myself work points. Like for recording this YouTube video right now, I will get 3 work points. Like I know it might sound silly, but literally when you are structuring your work like this, instead of thinking about completing the task, how hard it is, you're thinking that you will get points for it. And that makes it much more enjoyable. Because last month I get 75 work points. This month isn't even halfway over, and I already got like 59 points. So when I'm doing any work, I'm always trying to set a new record. I'm always trying to get more points than last month. And that's like a constant competition with yourself. So let's recap. You need to make the useless but stimulating stuff as hard to do as possible by creating the barrier of laziness. And then you need to make the useful work stuff as easy to do as possible by gamifying it, so that doing work becomes much easier than doing the useless stuff. If you watch this video up to this part, it means you are part of the 10% of the most dedicated learners. Subscribe to this channel to not miss more life-changing information. I see you in the next one, and remember, discipline is freedom. Mwah.